Greetings fellow 50p collectors, Coin Snatcher here, and the subject of tonight's video, part 1 most likely, is the Isle of Man Christmas 50p collection. So this was the first series of Christmas 50p's to be struck by any mint, and it started off way back in 1980. But before we get into that, a couple of things you're going to need if you are looking to collect these coins. So the first thing you're going to need is one of these, and this is a rather posh looking eyeglass. So with this you can hold the coin, you can pop out the magnifying bit, and you can have a good old look at the coin. I've never used this one, but it's quite a nice one. It comes in the Royal Mint set. Second one was one that I bought off eBay, because it's always worth buying a couple of different kinds of these and seeing which one you get on best with. And this is a 30 by 21 mil. I've got absolutely no idea what that means, but this little one has stayed in the box. I haven't used it at all. And then the final one, let's get rid of that little box there. The final one is this one, which you've probably heard me talk about before. So the other two are okay if you just want to look at one coin, but if you have two coins and you want to hold the coins at the same time, then ideally you want both your hands free. And by using this, you can pop this in your eye socket and you can have both hands free to manipulate the coins in whichever way you see necessary. And this is a ×2 magnification. I got this at the Royal Mint, and if I remember right, it was only about $4.99. You can pop the little lens bit out as well, so it's pretty easy to clean. Cheap, cheerful, does what it says on the tin. A really good bit of kit. Now the second thing you're going to need is most likely a book which is going to explain all the die marks on the coins and explain the different years, all the different designs that you're going to be looking for. So the best book you can probably get to go through all this is this book here by Dan Smith. So plenty of credit to Dan Smith, because I'm sure he must have put a lot of effort into doing this book. But without infringing copyright, Dan, if you do get one of these books, it'll show you the coin, it'll show you possibly the card it comes in, it'll give you all the information about it, and it'll give you the die marks as well. And you can see what I've done, which is to tick the ones that I have as I've gone through the book. And you can see this book has seen plenty of use. It's starting to fall apart, but it's an absolutely fantastic book. Really, really good. I'm sure you can pick these up on eBay. If not, you'll get it on the Isle of Man Christmas 50p Facebook group, and Dan will look after you. While I'm saying that, there is a secondary book you can get as well, which is called Coins of the Isle of Man. And this is quite a hardcore, in-depth book by Mike J. Southall of all the various Isle of Man coins. It covers old coins, new coins, literally every Isle of Man coin you can think of, as well as tokens, notes, all sorts of things in this book. It's a really, really good book for reference as well. So once you've got your eyeglass and you've got your books, then you're ready to start collecting. And as I say, good place to start collecting these coins is on the Facebook group. So if you're not on any of the Facebook groups, get yourself a, what do they call it, a phone with apps on it, and get yourself onto the Isle of Man Christmas 50p collectors. Les, a fellow 50p collector, we have a little group as well with the Isle of Man Christmas 50p's on it, so it's worth popping on there and having a look. And you will generally pick up a lot of information from fellow collectors, because they're normally more than happy to share their knowledge with new starters as well. In terms of prices of these coins, the best way to get the prices is to go onto eBay and to look at the sold items. Do not look at the prices that coins are listed for, because generally they're pretty much irrelevant. So saying that, the coins start off in 1980 and they go the whole way up to oh, sorry, my other phone beeping again there. They go all the way up to 2016. So 80, 16, there should be 36 varieties. In 2015, they didn't release a coin, so that drops it down to 35. But in 2008, they released 2 different 50p coins for Christmas, which brings it back up to 36 again. Add on top of that, you have different metal types. So in this case, you would have cupro-nickel, or you may have silver-proof coins. You can also get these coins in very limited number in gold, but you'll need to have a very deep wallet or purse if you're going to start collecting these coins in gold, possibly even platinum as well. But the first coin we're going to have a look at is the 1980 Christmas 50p. So this is a Manx paddle steamer in the background called Mona Isle, and it's pictured bringing the Christmas meal in the, what would you call that, horse and cart carriage. And the detail on this coin is quite fantastic. So if we pop the lid off this coin and we have a little zoom in on it. So when I say about the detail on these coins, bear my hands, you can see you've got the little dog here, you've got the snowmen, you've got the kids, you've got the horses, you've got the guy on the coach with the whip, you got the footmen at the back, you got the steamer in the background, the paddle steamer. You can see the jetty there, the pier. You got a little wreath at the top there, just under the script, Christmas. And of course you have 50 at the bottom, not 50p, just 50. So with these coins, they're similar in die marks to any of the other Popjoy mint coins that were struck for the Isle of Man, also for Gibraltar and that as well. But for the Isle of Man, if we have a little look on this coin, we can see that just to the left of the man at the back of the carriage, there's a little AA die mark. That's it there. So that's the first thing you're looking for on these coins, to see what the die mark is, because generally AA will be the common one, and as you go through the die marks, they'll probably get progressively rarer. Now, the die marks are used to denote which metal the coin is made from. So an AA coin will generally be cupro-nickel. There are 1 or 2 exceptions to that, but we'll not confuse things by going into that now. And then you'll have AB moving through the different die marks, and then you'll have D, E and F for your silver-proof coins. If you are rich enough to afford a gold 50p, you'll be looking for a G die mark. But you can see the detail on this coin compared to, say, the coins maybe that we get in the UK, and they're nowhere near as detailed as this. I have to say, from a personal perspective, I think this was Popjoy in its heyday. These coins, the designs they made for these Christmas coins are quite outstanding. Now, when you have a look at these die marks, you would expect maybe to find 1 or 2, but if I zoom out of this a little minute, we have 7 of these in a row. So we have 7, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, around 19 different 1980 50p coins. Now the reason for this is because we've got all the different die marks, and we've also got, I believe it's 2 out of the 19 that have cracked dies. So you're probably aware of cracked dies if you collect UK 50p's, and generally, well, it is what it says it is. It's where the die has cracked, and you will find a line on the coin that shouldn't be there. So on that particular coin, the first one, we have AA, and then if we move over to the second coin, and we'll have a little zoom in on that, we also have AA. Now the reason there's 2 is because these AA die marks are very slightly different to each other. So that's something you'll be looking out for, and that's why you need the magnifying glass, because the only way to find out what the die mark is in comparison to a die mark which is the same, is to literally get the two coins, put them right up beside each other, and then with your magnifying glass or your phone, have a zoom in. Hopefully the phone's going to reconsider this and actually give you a decent picture of it. Maybe not. Let's try that again. Right, so maybe that's slightly better there, you can see that. But if you have a look at the left hand 50p, the one that's underneath, you'll see the two A's are level and they're nearly touching the line that is just above them. And if you look at the second or the right hand coin, you'll see that the two A's are much lower down compared to the line. And in this case, the right hand A is just slightly lower than the left hand A. So with these coins, the differences can be quite small, but if you have a book then that lists all the die mark variations, then you'll know exactly what you're looking for. And although there's two different variations here, you know, it's entirely possible there could be three. So it's well worth having a look at each individual coin, and you'll spend many hours hunting through eBay, looking at dodgy pictures, trying to work out if it's a die mark that you have already or is it a different die mark. So moving on, we have the next coin, which is again 1980. I shouldn't really repeat myself every time. These are all 1980 until I tell you otherwise. But if we have a look here, we can see there's a little die mark here. And if we have a zoom in on this, the die mark on this coin is a B. I get the feeling the phone doesn't want to play ball tonight. So there we go, there's the AB die mark. And then if we move on to the next coin, we just need to turn that around very slightly. So this is one of the rarest coins in the collection. Now this coin has a die mark which is a C, and it'll take, well, I say it'll take, you may strike lucky and find one quite quickly, but generally the AC die mark out of all of these ones is probably the hardest to find. I don't know how many of these were minted, but I'm sure the AC die mark, there was not that many minted at all. So most of the people who collect these 1980 coins, you'll find that the AC die mark is definitely the trickiest one to get a hold of, and it generally commands a premium over the AAs and the AB coins. So the AC one is going to be a tricky one. If you find one of those quickly after starting to hunt for these coins, then you've had a right touch. So after the AC coin, we have an AD coin. Now for some reason, I think because this was the first year of the Christmas 50p, Popjoy made a lot of these coins, and hence you have a very big run when it comes to the die marks. You don't find this variation, this range of die marks on the forthcoming years. But if we have a look here, we can see the A and we can see the D. So we have AA, AB, AC, AD. And if we move on to the next coin, just pop that around a little bit. Okay, so this one's a little bit harder to see, but if we have a zoom in on this, this is AE. So let's just see if I can take the capsule lid off this. I think because it's starting to get a bit darker now, the phone's not as happy as it is during the daylight. Right, so that was AD, sorry about that. And here we have AE. So as you guess, AE is probably one of the harder ones to find as well. But there we go, there's the AE die mark. They're quite hard for the phone to pick out because they're quite faint. It's only a tiny little mark you're looking for. If you compare that to the size of my fingernail, you can see how small the die mark is. So there we go, that was AE. And then the coin beside that follows on, and this is, let's get that open out of the capsule as well. There we go. And a nice way to display these in the capsule as well, because they're easy to get to. And what you may find is that if you put them in flips, they may not be as easy to see underneath the vinyl. So if we have a little zoom in on this one, and we can see that that one as well is a E. Now the thing with this is this one has a cracked die on it somewhere. So somewhere on this coin there's a crack, and that's why we've got two of them. So that's the first row of these coins done. And then if we move on to the second row, we have a little zoom in on this coin. So if we pop the capsule lid off this one as well, and have a little zoom in here. So before, the last one was AE, and now this one is an A die mark with an F beside it. So this is AF. Quite hard to find as well. Generally, the majority of these coins are AA and AB. AD is probably the next easiest to find. AC, AE and AF are the proper difficult ones to find. Still a really nice design. You can see the quality of the strike on these coins as well. Tend to find too that the more you look at these coins, the more you'll find details on them that you've missed before. I'm just looking at this boat here and just see these strange looking little bits on the boat as well, but it's all good. Right, so those are the circulating coins, what you would have found back in your change in 1980 when these coins were released. Now the next lot of coins that we go on to, they're still 1980, but these are the diamond proof finish coins. And with these, the die marks change. So before the die marks began with an A, these coins, the die mark now begins with a B. And if we have a little look in here, same place as the AA die mark, we can see the BB die mark. I have to be careful not to touch this coin. Now have a little zoom out as well. So just a case of playing with the phone really until you get the phone close enough and be able to magnify it without losing the pixelation on it. So that was BB. And with a BB coin, I should have said too, with a diamond proof coin, you will have mirror fields. So the flat part of the coin is called the field, and that will be highly polished or a mirror finish. And then the raised part of the coin, the design, is called the table, and that will be frosted on a diamond finish coin. Effectively, diamond finish is the same finish as a Royal Mint proof finish. So silver proof coin from the Royal Mint would have the same finish as a diamond finish coin from Popjoy. And that was the BB one. Now if we have a little zoom in here, we have another BB coin, but if we have a look at this little die mark here, we can see that that BB die mark is different to that BB die mark. So again, it's one for the magnifying glass. You have to get your magnifying glass out, and I call this an up-down variety because the left-hand B sits lower than the right-hand B. But once you've looked at these coins for a while, you'll soon get the hang of how the die marks work and what to look for. So the next die mark then in this little series is BC, and BC is a common coin for the diamond proof finish, unlike the AC coin in circulating finish, which is super rare. But you can see the tiny little B, and then it's dwarfed by the much larger C beside it. And there is, I have read or come across articles, information which says a BC coin has a better quality proof finish than a BB coin, but I guess that's open to interpretation. So the next coin, if we move over from that, is another BC coin. And if we have a look at this one, just for instance, we can see that the C on this coin is really, really close to the coat that the footman is wearing. Whereas if we go back over to this one, we can see that the BC is further away from the man's coat. So again, very small differences, but the differences are there. And as I say, once you've looked at a few of these coins, you'll soon get the hang of it. One of the frustrating things with these coins is looking at pictures that people have put up on eBay, and the pictures aren't very good quality quite often. So that's a bit annoying, because most of us who collect these coins have probably bought the same coin several times because we're unsure of what the die mark is. And if it's one of the rarer die marks and you can pick it up for the same price as a BC, then you're definitely going to want to get your hands on it. A lot of the sellers of these coins don't understand the die marks or what they are either. So we have BC on this coin as well. Then we have BC, and then the coin beside that. It follows on a bit like the A series of coins. So here we have BD. So if we have a little zoom in on that, you can see the B, small b, and then quite a pronounced D on this coin. So there we go. And then the next coin over from that, oh, that's the end of that run. So that's run number 2. If we go down to run number 3, we're over onto this side here. So this is the next coin. So we had BC. Oh, bear with me. Yeah, so I'm getting ahead of myself here. Right, so we had BD on that coin, that's correct. And then this coin, when we zoom in on it, should be BE. Oh. There we go. Let's get in a bit closer. So there we go. There's the BE die mark. You'll notice that with the BE die mark, the B and the E are very close together. Just see if I can get that slightly better, because it's quite hard to pick these die marks up properly with the phone, but it's definitely a BE die mark. And then the next one that we have is, now this is one of the anomalies. I can't say that word. This is one of the differences. So this coin has a BF die mark. Now for this particular 1980 coin, there's 2 BF die marks, and one of these coins is what we call the mule coin. So if we flip this over, we'll see on the back of the coin it says Elizabeth II, and if we flip this coin over beside it, we'll see that this coin says Isle of Man, Elizabeth II. So what happened, this is the mule coin here, and basically this coin was struck and it doesn't say Isle of Man on it anywhere. So this coin is known as the stateless mule. Basically there's no state on the coin. And what makes this coin slightly different when you have a look at it is the frosting on it comes under the whip. So if you ever see one of these coins and it's got frosting under the whip, as opposed to, let me just get this other coin out of the tray and turn it over. Let's pop this one back in here as well. In fact, we'll keep it there for a second. Right, so on the normal BF coin, the frosting on the coin runs in a straight line, and on the mule coin, the frosting comes up and it comes under the whip here. Now, that's fair enough, but just be aware that there is a BF coin which isn't a mule, which also has frosting that comes under the whip as well. So I don't have that coin in the collection yet, but I'll have to start looking out for it again and hopefully add that one into the collection. But in terms of costs, this coin here, which is the mule, that doesn't say Isle of Man on it anywhere, this coin is probably going to set you back a minimum of £180, and I imagine a BF coin is going to be £60 to £70, if not more. I'm sure at one point these coins, the mule one was going for 250 odd pounds. So as with any of the Popjoy stroke Isle of Man coins, if you're looking to do a whole collection of them, then they are quite expensive indeed. Right, now the final coin in this collection, well, I say final one, it may not be the exact final one, but we're getting there. So this is a silver proof coin. It has a little bit of toning on it, unfortunately, but when we have a little zoom in on the die mark, it's got a D die mark on it. And these ones generally come in a little red box, so come with a little certificate as well. I think the issue limit on these silver proof ones was 5,000. Now, just while we're on the issue limit of 5,000, I should say as well, with the diamond proof coins, there was 30,000 of those struck. That's what the certificate will say. You've got to divide 30,000 over the different die marks, so BB, BC, BD, BE, BF, and then you can sort of gauge, well, you can take a guess at how many of each coin were struck with each die mark. But we got 5,000 that were struck in silver, and this one has the D die mark. And then if we go over to the one beside it, this is another silver proof coin. You know it's silver proof because it only has one letter as well. But if we have a zoom in and a zoom out on this and try to get the magnification, it looks a bit like an I, but it's definitely an E. So with this silver proof coin, 5,000 of them split between a D die and an E die. And that then brings us to the end of the 1980 coin. So you can see how many coins we've got just from the very first year of the Christmas coin being struck. Ooh. Right, so the second coin then in the season is obviously 1981, and this coin represents a Manx fishing boat, which is also known as a Nicky boat, and it's in Peel Harbour, and it's landing the Christmas catch, which would traditionally have been herring. So Peel's the main fishing port in the island, and on the island they smoke these herring as well. So you've probably heard of Manx kippers, and that's what Manx kippers are. So they're excellent, very nice with a poached egg. Anyway, I digress. So on this coin, you would immediately think, well, the first coin is going to be the same as the 1980 Christmas coin. It's going to start off with an AA die mark. But when we have a look at this first coin, we find exactly here the AA die mark, just as it should be. This one is particularly faint to see. It's only in a tiny little square on the left hand side of the coin, and even at 5 times magnification, it's a tricky little bugger to see. So we have the AA coin, and then beside this coin, let's just pop that round. Oh, this one's going to be a bugger to see. Now again, because these coins are circulation coins, they are a little bit worn perhaps, but it's hard to, oh, there we go. We're maybe just getting a bit of focus on that now. So when we go here, we can see the A die mark here, and we've got the B die mark here. So very, very faint, quite tricky to see on that coin. But if you have your magnifying glass, then it will be easier to see, especially when you got it rammed right up to your eyeball. So moving on to the next coin then. This is an anomaly. Can't say that word. It's different to all the other Christmas 50p coins. In fact, this coin actually, in terms of Pop Joy coins, is quite unique. Excuse me. When we have a look at this coin, we'll see that the die mark on it is HH. Now, normally H on a coin would refer to the coin being platinum. However, we've got double H here, so it's definitely not a platinum coin. And there's no other coin in the whole series of Christmas 50p's. In fact, there's no other Pop Joy coin that was struck for the Isle of Man that has an HH die mark. There was a sovereign that was struck in, I believe, 1974, and it had an XX die mark, and sometimes people get confused with the XX die mark and the HH die mark, but this is HH. So you got a H on the left, which sits slightly lower than the H on the right. So if you find one of these HH die mark coins, then snap it up and get it into your collection. I think that's probably the rarest die mark on the 1981 coin. Now, when we go over to this coin, which is beside it, just to add more confusion to everything, this coin also has the HH die mark. Now, the HH die mark is exactly the same on both these coins, but the reason that there's two of these coins in the collection, and I don't want to confuse people too much with the variations on these coins, but if you're going to collect them, you may as well know about it. So here you'll see just above the 1 you have a PM, which is the mint mark, which is Popjoy mint, and down here, underneath, let's move this a bit level so it's not going to slide down. Right, hopefully we should be able to work with that. So the only thing to make this easy is if we have a look at the PM here, have a look at the space between the PM and the 1. So you'll see there's quite a large space. When we compare it to this one, the space is much, much smaller. So the gist of this is that the more coins they strike, the dies start to wear out. So this side, being a more intricate design on most of the coins, will be the side that wears out eventually, or wears out first. So with this side, you'll generally get the die cracks, you'll get lack of detail on the coin, etc. as the die wears away, exactly the same as you would with the British UK coins. With the obverse of the coin, the side that has the Queen's head on it, the die possibly isn't going to wear away as quickly, but it still will wear away. And if you're striking a large volume of these coins, then at some point you're going to change the die for the reverse side, and you're going to change the die for the obverse side. And that's what's happened here. They've changed the die, and you can tell it's a different die because of the gap between the 1 and the PM. It's slightly larger on one coin than on the other coin. So if you can get yourself an HH coin, happy days. If you can get yourself an HH coin with a different mint mark, a different PM mark on each coin, fantastic. And you never know, there may be 3 different versions of the PM mint mark. Just what I show you here is my collection. It's not definitive. It's more than possible there's other variations and other PM mint marks and HH die marks that may be different from one another. So it always pays to have a look, and half the fun, half the addiction with these coins is actually going through and seeing if you can find a die mark that nobody's found before, or a die mark that hasn't been recorded before. But for this 1981 coin, on the circulated version, we have AA, AB, HH, and then we move on to the diamond finish coin. So as with the 1980 coin, we lose the A prefix and we go on to the B prefix. And just like the 1980 coin, we now have a BB die mark, so you can see the B there. And in this case, it's an up-down version of the BB die mark. There we go. I'm definitely of the opinion that recording the video earlier on in the day is probably better with the natural light. Now you can see the difference there on the fields as well. So you can see that the field area, the flat area of the coin, is nicely polished. It's a mirror finish. And then the raised area, the table part of the coin, has the frosted finish on it. Let's zoom out of that. And if we move over to the next coin. So this variation has a BC die mark, and to date I don't think there's a second variation of that BB die mark. I think there is just one, and then it went on to BC, and you can have a little look at the BC on that coin, and you can see that the B and the C pretty close together, reasonably central in that little square on the design, and a really nice looking design. I would say too, it's nice when you're buying these coins to get as good a condition one as possible, but you got to bear in mind that these coins are 40 plus years old. So if you had a coin from the Royal Mint that was 40 years old, it probably would have turned into dust by now, or been so manky looking you wouldn't be able to see the design on it. So bearing in mind this is a 1981 coin, it's, you know, it's old, it's in really nice condition. And then the next coin we have beside it, if we have a little look down here, following the theme of the 1980 coin, of course, we have a little D die mark that's nestled in that little square. So this is the silver proof version of this coin, and to date I don't believe that there's any die mark version of this coin, so I think the silver proof one only came with a D die mark. And at the minute that's all the coins I have in the 1981 Christmas 50p set. So we move on, and the next year that we have, chronologically speaking, is 1982. And in 1982 we have a scene that portrays Victorian carol singers. They're singing around the festive tree, and they're in Market Square, and they're beside Castle Rushton in Castletown. So if anybody collects any of the other Isle of Man coins, you'll have come across Castle Rushton before. I think they are on the 20p coins, and this is a 13th century castle, dominates the town centre, and it is, well, it's essential really to the whole sort of history and the story of the island of Man. But when we have a little zoom in on this coin again, just like the other coins, it really doesn't disappoint in terms of design. You can see the Christmas tree clearly with all the bells and decorations on it. You can see a man here standing with his gas lamp. You can see a child standing here under the tree. And let's have another little zoom in a bit closer. And then obviously you've got the carol singers here all decked out in their Victorian garb. You can even see the man singing off the hymn sheet. You got another, looks like a boy there with his gas light, and looks like a little dog and a youngster there in the background as well. Detail is really good on these coins. I mean, when they designed these coins back in the 80s, they put quite a bit of effort into it, which is really nice. It's a shame in a way that our mint in the UK wasn't striking these coins many years ago. It'd be nice if they had done a whole Christmas series of coins as well. Only disappointing thing is that this series of coins stopped in 2016. We can but pray that at some point the Tower Mint will take up the mantle again and start another decent run of Christmas 50p's for the Isle of Man. Now, unusually with this coin we break from tradition, so under the tree here we have the little die mark on this coin. Now in theory we should be looking for an AA die mark, but for some reason this year they didn't produce a coin with an AA die mark. So I know this is a little bit hard to see, but this is an AB die mark. Let's see if we can reduce the magnification down. We'll go in a bit closer. So there we go. I think you can see the AB die mark on that coin now. And perhaps this is a better way to do it, in closer with less magnification. So you can see the detail on that coin. It's phenomenal. Really nice. Now, it is entirely possible that the Popjoy Mint did produce the die for this coin with an AA die mark on it, but maybe they didn't use it, maybe the die broke, maybe they only struck a couple of coins and it cracked, or something went wrong. But whatever it was, I've never seen an AA die mark in the wild, and I don't believe there's anybody that owns one. So again, just one of these little oddities that has occurred with the Popejoy Mint and their Christmas coins. So the AB die mark on that coin, and if we move on to the next coin then, let's pop the capsule lid off that one. So we can see straight away, just when we have a look at the finish on this coin, how much nicer it is. You see the difference there. I think when I do part 2 and part 3 of this series of coins, I'll do them during the day in the natural daylight. So I do apologise to the viewers, to you folks, that maybe the picture quality on this isn't as good as it should be. But yeah, look at how nice those coins are. So that's a 1982 coin. That's what, 42 years old, and it's still got what we would describe as a beautiful luster to it. But importantly with these coins, I don't want to zoom off the magnification because I think we've got just about the sweet spot here. So when we look down on this coin, just down here, okay, and I'm not going to touch the coin. As soon as I put the pen on it, the phone focuses on the pen rather than the coin. But this is a BB die mark coin. So there we go. So that's pretty nice as well. Right, and then we go down onto the next row, and we have another BB die mark coin. Let's just turn that round level. I'm going to pop a little capsule lid on this coin and bring it over and just see if we can see the difference between them. Because much as I enjoy showing the coins, I think with these deep delve videos, as I call them, it's all about looking at more of the detail on these coins. So on this coin, we can see that the two B's are pretty much level, and the right hand B is pretty much touching the person standing beside it. But when we have a look at this BB coin, the second one, first of all, we can see that the right hand B is slightly lower than the left hand B, and there's quite a distinct gap between the right hand B and the person standing there. So we have a BB die mark variation on the 1982 coin. There's two different versions of that BB die mark to get. If you do have these diamond proof coins, make sure you don't touch them with your fingers. You'll get your fingerprints on them, which is no good. And then we have a really rare coin. This one has been struck upside down. I'm only joking. So we'll pop this one round, and when we have a zoom in on this one, you can see, oh god, I've done it, haven't I? I've gone off the 2.5 times. Right, so there we have another BB variation on this coin, and I guess we may as well just pop this one. Is that the right one? No, that's the one I want there. Okay, so just bear in mind the one we're looking at is the middle one. Right, so when we have a look at the first one, we have the second B is slightly raised up compared to the first B. You see that? Harder to see now, apologies, but... And then on the one we're looking at now, the second B is just a tad lower. So the right hand B is a tad lower than the left hand B. And then we have the first one that we looked at, where there's quite a gap between the second B and the guy on the right hand side. So for this 1982 coin, I guess what I'm trying to get at is there's 3 different versions of the BB die mark. Should keep you busy for quite a while looking for those 3 different versions. And with all these diamond finish cards, coins, they'll come in the Christmas card, which is nice. And then to finish off this coin, let's just flick that round. The last coin in the 1982 series is, of course, the silver proof coin. So when you have a little zoom in on that, you can see the D die mark. Have a little zoom out again there. Let's zoom back in again, and let's pop the capsule off this one and just have a look at this one as well. And there we go. Well, we can see how nice the finish is on that. And with the silver proof coin, what I've noticed over the years is that the frosted effect is a slightly silvery, it doesn't make sense really, but it's a lighter, more silvery frost effect than you get on the diamond proof coins. But always go by the die mark on these coins, which you'll see it down there is a D. Lovely jubbly. Right, let's pop the lid back on that before I get a mucky print on it, which is entirely possible. And then we move on to the 1983 series of coins. So the 1983 coin is the Model T Ford, and it's decorated in seasonal attire, apparently. Seasonally decorated. Oh, the marketplace it's at, sorry. So this is the marketplace, and that's decorated for Christmas. It's, don't know what's going on here, sorry. Phone's giving me a bit of grief, isn't it? But there we go. So let's have a zoom in there. We can see the Model T Ford person there. Looks like a mum and their child waving goodbye to whoever's in the car. You've got the marketplace in the background. You've got the church there. You've got the hills in the background. You've got the little wreath of holly here. More people standing here. You've got what looks to be quite a plump cat getting out of the way of the car. And yeah, details really nice. This one's been in circulation. You can tell it's quite nicely worn as well. But yeah, this is the Model T one. Now there is one in particular to watch out for when it comes to these coins. So one of the diamond proof finish, whenever they struck them, the first couple of hundred that were struck were put into the Christmas card, but they were signed by Sam Toy, and I think Sam Toy at the time was the managing director of Ford Motor Company in the UK. So if you can get your hands on one of the Christmas cards and it has Sam Toy's signature in it, then that goes for considerably more than just the standard coin, than the standard Christmas card, which doesn't have his signature. There's not too many of those about. I'm lucky enough to have been able to get one of them, and I have seen them on eBay, but I think the sellers are asking silly money for them quite often. Now with this coin, we're looking for a little die mark, which is down here. And just like all the other coins, it will be a BB die mark you're looking, or sorry, an AA die mark you're looking for. And there it is there. A little bit trickier to see. And if we go over, so this is the same coin again, but this time we have a slight variation on the die mark. So if we have a look at this, we'll see on this one there is a little gap between the A's. And when we go over to this one, there's no gap between the A's. They're squashed right up tight to each other. Now, another good way to work out the die marks on these coins, particularly the 1983 one, is if you have a look at the A in relation, you've got three legs here effectively when you look at it. So have a look at the legs and you line up the AA die mark with the legs. And you'll see that in this case, the AA die mark is over quite a bit more to the right than it is on this coin here. So again, very slight differences in the die mark and very slight difference in location of the die mark. And then when we have a look at this particular coin as well, zoom in there. Okay, so what we've got here in terms of die mark is quite a large space between the two A's. And then we have one more coin in this tray, and this is the AB die mark coin. So we'll have a little zoom in there. bit harder to see. It's a little bit worn, but you have an A and you have a B on that die mark. Right, so that is the first tray for the Isle of Man Christmas 50p's. We've done 1980, 1981, 1982, 1983, and we're about halfway through 1984. Now the light out here is getting particularly bad. Looks like we've got a thunderstorm coming. I've got to say the next door neighbour's blossom tree is looking quite nice. It's all come out in bloom. And he regrets that every year because all the blossom falls down into his garden, makes a right mess of it. But there we go. So rather than do a 3-hour long video, I think we'll leave it there for this video. But that is the first tray. We've got another 3 trays to go of the Isle of Man Christmas 50p collection. If you have any questions, put them below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions about these coins. But for this video, thank you for your patience. Peace and love. Coin Snatcher out.